We're all dudes.
Hey. I think he's worried about you.
Dad, help.
Do I really have to sit next to him?
Who let this guy come over?
Did I even see you last week?
Yeah, when I recorded. And then you got all grumpy with me when we went to go get margaritas.
Well, yeah, you're a fucking child.
I'm just being me.
Well, stop.
No, I'm not going to be nobody else.
Well, you don't need to be anybody.
Night-night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dirt nap time.
God, why does that look broken?
Oh, God. What are we looking at?
Look
What
at
are
the
we
TV.
It's been on that for the entire time.
But,
oh, look, it's changing now.
Yeah, it's changing, but... Okay, that one looks normal. That one just did not look right. It looked broken.
Maybe it's just your angle. I don't know.
Was it red?
No.
Or was it pink?
I mean, it was a little pink.
Okay.
Is it supposed to be?
No.
Oh. Is it supposed to be red?
Yeah.
Oh.
TV might go bye-bye. See, that's red.
That's red.
Okay. That's such... It's just a picture.
Now it's pink.
Oh, great. I think the TV's leaving the group chat. Well, that's what I get for leaving it on for weeks. Just scrolling through digital images.
You burned all the red out of it.
See, that one looks okay. It's fine. Fuck it. I don't really care. What day did we record last week?
Monday. We
That
actually
was
recorded
only last week.
We recorded on time last week. It was weird.
Wow. It's been a long week, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's Thursday now, so it's been a week and a half since we recorded.
Look at he's falling asleep sitting up. We're boring the podcast puppy.
He's like,
Oh, sorry. Did I wake you? I so wish we had video right now. I apologize. Just there's a blanket over there. I'm going to stop talking to you because you're looking at me like it. I should stop talking to you. That's fine. It's a $200 TV.
do I need to turn the TV off so you stop getting distracted? And you say I'm the one with ADHD.
I know. I'm just
Wow.
not red. Pink. Okay, TV's bad. Our monitor has gone out of the group chat. No big deal. So how's your week?
It's been long.
It's been a long week. These last 2 weeks feel like they have been dragging on abnormally.
Well, I've been doing literally something outside of work, after work, every single day.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
And then Saturday, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh. Why would you do that?
My dad wanted to go shoot quail.
Quail, not dove?
Yeah, it's quail season right now.
Where are they? Out there too?
I mean, we can go out there, and we would have probably had better luck if we went out there, but we went with one of my dad's coworkers.
Shooting quail makes me feel like you need to wear steel all the way up to your knee.
Why?
Because they scurry from bushes, and like I feel like I'm gonna shoot somebody's fucking leg off.
It's fine.
Okay,
It's just a leg.
perfect. I'm not opposed to a carbon fiber leg. What?
But,
Shouldn't say that.
yeah, so we went with one of my dad's work buddies, and he goes all the way out to Florence.
Ooh.
And so it was like a 2-hour drive just to get to where he goes, and we shot one quail.
Doesn't that shit annoy you?
Well, then what annoys me is the guy has been telling my dad for the last several years about how great this spot is and this and that and the other. And then, like, so the quail we shot on the drive in. Like, when we hit the dirt road, we're sitting there driving, and I was like, hey, Dad, that was a cubby of quail that just jumped the road. He's like, was it? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, but only 2 jumped. And I was like, I know. There's 6 more sitting over there.
Did you miss it?
So we stopped, jumped out. I had to unlock the shotgun case because I still had it locked because it was in my car the day before.
Oh my god.
So I had to unlock it, get the shotguns out, then dig out shells, and then we went and chased the birds. And we jumped the cubby, and, you know, they all did their short little flight. And so as soon as one jumped up, I shot it. And my dad was like, I was about to shoot that one. I was like, well, you took too long.
Yeah, well, way to be old.
And he's like, it was in the air for like 2 seconds. I was like, yeah. Any longer, it would have been gone.
Quick with it, Pa.
And so that was the only bird we killed.
See that exact scenario, and I'm not being an asshole. I'm just giving you, now that it's up in the air, a prime example of why I was so hesitant to go out to your spot for dove.
Yeah.
Because you invited me for a lot of fucking years, right? But I was severely stuck in the ways that I learned from my uncle and my dad. Because I was so fucking skeptical about how different... I was like, yeah, a different spot's going to be that fucking great. The spot that they've been dragging me to since I was, 8, has been garbage for 20 years. Why the fuck would I be that excited about yours? And then he sent me pictures of, like, everybody that's filled their tag in 2 days in a row. I'm like, what the fuck?
In the first hour and a half of the day.
Not only that, but it's like a completely different hunt.
Yeah.
Because where I'm used to...
You just stand there.
Where I'm used to, good luck if you're going to find water, first of all. And if you do, then they come in low and fast.
Oh, they still come in low and fast where I'm at.
But fuck my ass. No, you don't even know what I'm talking about. No, because that was... we had to change my choke. We had to change our setups to hunt where you hunt.
Oh,
no.
Well, I had to take the full choke out of mine and go back to a modified.
Yeah.
They started coming in lower.
See? We had to fucking bunch them fast.
Yeah.
And hope for the best. Because there's no anticipating. There's no seeing. It's good luck. 2 seconds. Yeah. No, missed.
Yeah,
and then
so
we go to your spot, and you're like, take your pick. Look above you. The skies are open. There's 17 of them coming at you now. Oh.
Good luck keeping a shell in your gun.
Seriously.
You get really good at shooting and putting a shell in your gun all at the same time.
The only thing I had to be worried about was not putting them in the fucking fill behind me. Because if they go in there, they're gone. This thing just eats them. It looks like a mini landfill with trees in it. And if they go in there, don't go in there. Your fat ass isn't gonna get in or out, and you're coming out with no bird. Fuck. I feel better.
Yeah, so we migrated our spot from up on the hill to now we sit down in the wash.
Oh, good for you. BLM?
No, the owner just... Too many people weren't paying attention when they would shoot the direction of like where the houses and stuff were.
Everybody was pointing towards the cows.
And they would pepper all the awnings above where their horses were.
Right.
And so it would spook the horses. And so he was like, well, since people can't control where they're shooting, he's like, you can only shoot that way now, which is where that giant hole is you were talking about.
Yeah. It's right in front of you.
So you're dropping everything in the hole. And it's like, yeah, we're kind of tired of this, so we just went down into the wash. Right. It's still right there.
I was going to say, let's be clear here, it was only about 150 feet from where you're standing, where you park.
Yeah.
So it's not far.
Oh, well, we still drive down into the wash. We don't walk.
Well, I don't want to. I do two-wheel drive, man. I get stuck everywhere. I like to get stuck for fun, not on accident.
Well, where we park, you'll be fine.
I was a joke.
I know. But yeah, so even like when we got there to my dad's friend's spot for quail, we were sitting there and like the guy was talking about the day before. He's like, yeah, we came across all these birds and like we walked over this one hill down here where we used to camp and the entire mountainside was full of birds, this, that, and the other. And then later that day when we went to go cook everything, there was like 6 of them hunting the day before. And they only had 10 birds. And I'm like, if they were everywhere, are you guys really just that bad of a shot? Or were they not actually everywhere?
It's getting to the point where I'm like, if somebody tells me about a spot, I'm like, all right, I need pictures.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't fucking lie to me.
Yeah.
I know what a good fucking harvest is. Don't lie to me. I've seen the light, okay?
If you don't hit limit on bird, it ain't worth it to me.
I agree, especially because, I mean, look at what you're dealing with.
Yeah, there's so little.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I told my dad. I was like, this ain't even worth it. Like,
it's literally not worth it. That was inhumane of you. That's what that was. Just left that for a fox. Speaking of which, I had to go on a fucking recovery Monday. Pretty sure I hiked 3 miles to find an F-250. God. I was like, I didn't know we were hunting small game today. Up and down. Wash, exit. I'm like, what are we doing? Where is it? There it is. Perfect. How are we going to get it out with a skid steer?
You got it.
Oh my God. I have to pick and choose what I say about this situation.
So about this this topic we were supposed to be on.
That's a good choice of misdirection. Actually, this would have been perfect if I would have gotten in trouble for all the damage we did on that recovery. Oh no. I don't remember exactly where we left off last time. That episode hasn't even dropped yet. Shit. So the last episode that Justin and I talked, we left off probably a pretty serious topic, and I had mentioned that we were gonna resume that with part 2 on this one. And what I have noted for that is it's like when you're when you get yourself in situations, and we're not talking about work here, when you get yourself in situations with people and you try to kind of explain yourself or try to explain yourself, you try to kind of help the person in question understand where your mind was, what your thought was, and this and that. And when you're trying to, 9 times out of 10, it feels and it seems like that person doesn't want anything to do with your thought process. Like, the judge or jury has already spoken, case is closed in their mind. And that, to me, is probably one of the most frustrating situations that you can put yourself in. It is also a very life-altering moment, because 9 times out of 10, when that kind of shit happens, that person is also making the choice of removing themselves from your life or your situations. And this goes back to sleeping on it. Because when you're making a choice like that and you don't want to hear somebody's opposition, or you don't want to give somebody the time of day to defend themselves, there we go. That's the word I was looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so now hearing you talk about it, I think I remember a little bit of like where we left off. And it was pretty much just that of
just being able to defend yourself.
Yeah, being able. A lot of people don't want to have that difficult conversation after something happens.
Right.
But leaving that bridge open so that eventually when they do come around to be able to have that conversation, you can be able to explain both sides. Both parties can explain both sides of the story.
Right.
So that you can figure out where things went wrong and where the miscommunication came in, or if it truly was something that maybe you shouldn't have done.
And another side of this, it's weird because there's 3 sides to this, in my opinion. And the third side of this is what we were talking about before, was taking a step back. One of the things that I do definitely try to do when I get in the heat of a conversation or a moment or a disagreement and I don't want to hear it, or I don't feel like I want to have this conversation because I'm going to be offensive or whatever the case may be. If you're in the heat of a moment, my first reaction is typically, hey, let's talk about this another time. Let's talk about this tomorrow. And normally I will give myself this much. I probably don't say it in the most friendly way. I'm not saying like fuck off.
Yeah.
But I'm upset and I'm like,
it comes off as a snappy response.
I'm like, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. We're going to deal with this shit tomorrow. I'm going to go for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely both been in that situation with each other.
Yes.
I mean,
I'd still do it with some of my closest friends. We're all fucking adults. We're all dealing with our own bullshit. We all have different angles every fucking day. It's cool. Shit happens. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's even more irritating that when I try to approach things like that, regardless of my snappy response, it's not to be controlling. It's to handle the situation appropriately.
Yeah, because, I mean, well, I don't even know if I would say not to be controlling, because you're trying to be controlling to a point.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to control yourself.
You're wrong.
You're not.
Not you're wrong. You're right.
You're not trying to control the.
Fucking wrong.
You're not trying to control the entire situation.
No,
which is what you mean by saying being controlling.
Right.
But you want to be able to control your response. You want to be able to control how that talk actually goes.
Right.
And when you're in that heat of the moment, you're not getting, neither you nor the person doing it is going to be able to control their responses.
100%, dude.
And I am 100% a believer in shit gets said in the heat of the moment that would have never been said and was never meant to be said or even meant. Like, people will say shit that they don't mean when they're in an argument because they just want to win that fucking argument at that point.
There is countless relationships, females or friends, that I can count of that have walked out the door for no good reason.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, I just. Do you know what it? You know how fucked up of a situation is when you lose the reins. You're going for a ride.
Oh, 100%.
You're going for a ride that you don't have a fucking choice in now.
It's going to be fun.
And that's exactly what I try to do in that particular moment, is just harness the situation for what it is.
Dig the spurs in, grab the mane, and hold on tight.
Fucking just try to get through what we've already started and let it go for the night.
Yeah.
But that's what I hope you remember more than I do, but that's kind of where we left off. Was not being able to harness that, or not being able to defend or explain yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of that comes down to just a lot of pride gets in the way with certain situations like that.
Yeah.
And it does. I mean, I have noticed personally that people will eventually come around, but how much time is going to be needed for that person to actually come around and be willing to have that conversation after something happens?
And that's the thing. Now you're talking about an ego.
Yeah, and that's 90% of the time. That's what a lot of this is caused by, is an ego. I mean, take last Monday for example. I messaged you the next morning just to be like, "Yo, we good?" Because I knew I was getting on your nerves. I mean, I can tell. I've known you long enough to where I can tell when I'm getting on your nerves.
I know. You're not the only one that called me out either.
And so I was like, "Hey, we good?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You sure? Like, do we need to talk about this?" You're like, "No, we're good." Like, but it's one of those where it's also probably a lot easier for us because, one, we've been through a lot of situations where we've gotten pissed off at each other, and we have had those long separations where we just don't fucking talk to each other for long periods of time.
Yep.
But then at some point or another, at least some amount of conversation was had.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's an actual like in-depth conversation or a, "Hey, I realized I fucked up," or something like that, and just at least acknowledgement of the situation, and then start working on putting things back together. And
I fucking think it's super cool. I'm sorry to interrupt you because I definitely just fucking shoved my foot up your ass.
No, it's fine. I'm starting to ramble.
So I'm rambling. Stop it. I think it's one of the things that I am enjoying. Probably about the only thing that I am enjoying about getting a little bit older is, especially particularly this year. There's a couple relationships that I have with a couple of really close people, you being one of them. I've taken the last 3 years of my life to really weed out, the bullshit, and to just get rid of the fucking extra weight, the anchors that I had. And it's super relieving, as dumb and as bad as it sounds, that in those moments, whether it's me or you or whatever the fucking situation may be, is that we can say what we want. Whether it be sarcastic, funny, or serious.
Yeah.
You can say what the fuck you want, and at the end of the day, you can have that conversation if it needs to be had.
Well, and the nice thing is I
admire that so much.
Even in the heat of the moment, 9 times out of 10, we have that ability to just be able to call each other out.
Yeah. And I love it.
And be able to actually sit and have that talk, or be like, "Hey, give me a little bit and then we'll have that talk." And for the most part, the people that we're surrounded by now are all on the same page of that.
Basically, yeah. And I think that's definitely worth talking about while we're talking about the people that aren't leaving themselves available to have that conversation. Because I think that the growth that comes from it is far more valuable than just being angry and walking away because your ego says you can't be insulted.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 100%. People... I mean, it's always said you learn more from your mistakes than you do your success.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're working on something, if you're trying to, your school or friendships or actual relationships. You learn more from your mistakes
Yes.
than you do your successes.
Hardly ever are you going to get something right the first time.
Exactly. And when you're talking relationships, friendships, stuff like that, you're not only talking your emotion, but you're also talking somebody else's emotions are all in play in this. And so now it's okay. What do I do that makes me happy? But is that what makes me happy going to piss this person off?
Right.
Is it going to upset this person? How can I do things that make me happy, say things that make me happy, but not upset them? And for that, I mean, it's going to fucking happen. And you're going to have to learn, like, okay, this is that boundary. And that's where being able to have that conversation plays such a huge role, because you got to be able to have that conversation to be able to know where that boundary is and be able to set that boundary. And most of the time, people aren't going to know where their boundary is until it's already been passed.
Right.
You got to step over the boundary before somebody's like, yeah, that wasn't cool.
Yeah. That's where where we should draw the line.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, and that's something that's definitely like nobody seems to really truly believe in watering your own grass. Like that statement goes as far as you need it to in any direction that you need it to go in. Develop your relationships, figure out where your boundaries are, figure out what's going to fit you the best. And it's truly an amazing experience that finally it feels like, well, I'm a late fucking bloomer, so it's my fault. But it's pretty amazing that I can literally say certain things that I need to say to some of my closest people in my life and just be able to have that conversation after the fact once things are cooled or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And it came up again the other day. I ran into some issues with my truck, and I'll tell you more after off air, but I ran into some issues off my truck, and my friend that was here all just wanted to call me out. Just wanted to call me out and prove me wrong. Call me out, prove me wrong. And I told him flat out, like, hey, I understand that you want to be right, and I understand that you are right. I get that, but I don't want to have this conversation right now because I'm fucking upset.
Because I'm going to prove to you that I'm fucking right, and you're wrong.
It didn't work that way. I was wrong. And I told him, like, I'm upset right now. I don't want to have this conversation. I know you want to be right. I get it. But right now, I'm a little fucking pissed. Hey, guess what we did? Fucking move the fuck on.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was so upset in that moment, and you'll understand why when I tell you more. But I was like, once things just moved on, I was like, what do you mean things are okay? This is great. And yeah, it's just truly amazing when you find yourself being able to open up truly to people that are around you, and vice versa. If somebody gives you that respect and somebody has the balls to tell you how they're actually feeling in a moment, don't fucking take that for granted.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot out of a person. And it takes a lot of mental capacity, and it takes a lot of their heart, and that means they trust in you to make the right choice for that moment and not be a fucking bully. And I think that's hugely important too, because I grew up with a lot of confusion in this particular section of, I would tell people, how I was feeling in a moment, and really not necessarily expecting anything, but sure as fuck not expecting to get made fun of.
Yeah.
So, I think that stands for something,
Yeah, it's definitely one of those where you're acknowledging you're already at a point where you're weak. And then you're going to call yourself out, basically, and say, look, I'm at a weak point right now. Let's not push the situation anymore. We'll drop this. We'll fucking walk away for a little bit.
Yep.
And we'll circle back to this when I've had time to cool off.
Yep.
So, one, you're already acknowledging that you're at a weak point. And 2, you're calling yourself out on being at a weak point, which is something that most people aren't even going to be willing to admit that they're at a weak point.
I was going to say, man, you're talking about few and far between.
And then not only being able to admit it, but call it out and be like, look, I just need some time right now.
Yep.
So I feel like, just like you said, if somebody is open and willing to say, hey, let's fucking stop for a minute. Let's hit that pause button. Let's walk the fuck away. Then you should respect it. Like, don't sit there and try and push the issue. Don't try and do any of that shit. Like, be like, all right, cool. I respect you. I respect your, I respect your wishes. We'll stop this. We'll walk away for a little bit. Or even like, I've had it fucking back to working on trucks. Fucking trying to put, I think it was one of the times I was changing the high pressure fuel pump in the race truck. I could not for the fucking life of me get one of the bolts to line up. It wouldn't fucking line up. 3 of the 4 were fucking in. Threads wouldn't start. I got pissed off. I fucking threw the ratchet across the yard. I live on 1.25 fucking acres.
Yeet.
Across the yard means fucking across the yard. It's not just it's 5 feet away. It's a little bit of a walk.
Yeah.
I threw it across the yard and I walked the other way. My dad didn't say anything. Walked over, grabbed the ratchet, walked back over, put the shit together that I was struggling with, left me alone because he knew, hey, he needs a fucking minute.
Mm-hmm.
And when I walked back, he looked at me. He's like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I was getting frustrated. He's like, all right. We good to work? And I'm like, yeah, let's finish.
Hell yeah.
It's just one of those where, verbally, yes, I didn't say, hey, I need a fucking minute, but there were signs.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like when you're around people that you care about, fucking read the room.
Yeah, 100%.
Fucking read the room just a little bit. If you're around people that you love and something's going down, just fucking... If you have to make a valid choice to be active in the conversation, then for 1, don't fucking laugh. For 2, don't instigate.
Yeah.
Just read the room a little bit and understand what that person needs. Guess what? We can move on 5 minutes later.
Oh, 100%.
So,
give if they're heated like that, give them a minute. Let them walk the anger off. It'll fucking work.
And this is one of the circumstances, not particularly like working on a truck or anything like that, but when somebody gets in their own head and gets upset and things like that, for some reason, people have this outstanding tendency to just pry on that, to just fucking find it's like a weak point that everybody just wants to push on.
Or not. Even taking it to, I don't know if I want to say a step further or anything like that, but when people know that something's bothering somebody or somebody's upset about something, they'll be like, oh, well, what's wrong? And they'll keep prying on it. And it's one of those where, like, hey, if they've already said, hey, I don't want to talk about it or nothing or something like that, it's probably because they're not in the right mindset to have that conversation yet.
Yes. And that goes all the way back to the last fucking episode that we had. To
me, that's more of a, hey, I can see that something's wrong. If you decide you want to talk about it or you need somebody to talk about it, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
If it's something I did, please let me know whenever you're able to have that conversation. And I've told that to so many people. And, not going to lie, only 2 out of 10 times somebody's going to reach back out later and be like, hey, this is what's going on. But there's going to be times that somebody's going to reach out and they're going to need to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather make people feel comfortable to be able to have that conversation with me, knowing that I'm not going to sit there and pry on stuff that they don't want to talk about.
Sometimes it even ends up in, if I were to reach out to you and just ask, what's wrong, try and, you pry on a couple different points, then walk away, leave it alone. Obviously, he doesn't want to talk about it. Sometimes the case is the next day, hey, are you okay? Or, everything going all right? And sometimes the case is maybe he doesn't want to talk about it. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm good.
Yeah. Well,
I worked through some shit, had to get through some bullshit on my own. I'm good.
Even just I think it was probably 3 months ago, you texted me. We were texting back and forth that day. And just all of a sudden you were like, you good? And I was like, what do you mean? You're like, well, you're being different. And
I could see shit.
I was like, well, yeah, some shit's going on, but I ain't going to talk about it right now.
Yep.
And you're like, all right. And then fucking the next morning on my drive to work, I know I just fucking like unloaded on you before you even said shit that day. And it's just one of those where like in that moment, I didn't really feel like talking about it. But if you make yourself known to people that you're willing to have that conversation.
Yeah.
If they truly need to have that conversation, they're going to come back to at least somebody that made themselves known that they're willing to have that conversation.
And before I forget, I'm sorry. I want to acknowledge another part of this, another conflicting part of this that tends to happen quite a bit. Because a lot of for some, I'm not qualified. I'm not educated nearly enough that I need to be having this conversation. But one of the things that happens pretty often that I find is you'll come across this situation where, you know, something like that'll happen, and you'll notice a difference or whatever, and you'll be able to kind of call out, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? You can obviously see something's wrong, and you get back, you know, nothing, I'm fine, blah, 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 this and that. And me personally, I don't really play the games. I'm not going to play this guessing game with you. If you tell me, hey, I'm good today, or hey, yeah, I'm fine, I'm not going to talk about it, whatever you tell me, I'm going to say okay to. Like, yeah. I'm not going to push, pry. I'm not going to sit there and ask you a million times because you want fucking attention.
Yeah, I'm not in high school. If you need attention, just flat out say you need fucking attention.
Right.
Like,
but this stands for the people that come back after the fact and say, well, all you said was okay. Well, that's because you said you didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So for the people, this is one of the things that I say pretty often on here, is that I want people to try to be more active in their own thought processes. And this is one of them. I understand if you want attention, that is perfectly fine, but put that shit into words, because the people that fucking truly matter to you will come forward and give you what you need.
Yeah.
But don't play games with the people that aren't going to play games with you, because that's not fucking fair.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and play games to find out if you truly want to talk, right, but you just don't want to say you want to talk, or if you truly don't want to talk. Because if you, for me, the way I see it is if you truly don't want to talk, but you sit there and, like, if I get too accustomed to having to pry on everybody, then that one person that truly did not want to talk, I start prying on them, they're going to lose their fucking shit.
Right, now it's going to go backwards.
And it's going to get worse.
Yes.
And so don't make it to where you're making... okay, let's be a little bit selfless here. Don't make it to where, because you want the attention, you want somebody to pry, don't make it to where that person that actually doesn't want attention gets pried on, because everybody's used to having to pry on you.
And again, that stands for, if you do, then just fucking say it.
Yeah.
If you do want attention, then guess what? The people that matter to you the most, or the people that you need to matter, are going to show up for that. Your circumstances matter to somebody. All you have to do is be honest with yourself for a minute. I can't stand trying to have an honest conversation. And I think that's where this whole thing started, was trying to have an honest conversation and it not being acknowledged in an honest manner is really where, for somebody like me, that's going to get me in trouble.
I promise you, there's people in your life that if you tell them you want to take a 10-foot walk off of a 5-foot bridge, they're going to be willing to sit down and have a conversation with you.
Right.
They're going to be willing to give you that attention that you're asking for.
That's specifically what you're asking for.
Yeah. I'm not a mind reader. I can't read your mind. I can't tell you what you want.
Yep.
I need you to tell me what you want. And then we can sit down, we can have that conversation. I can give you the attention that you want. We do whatever. You know, even if you don't want to actually have a conversation, but you want some attention, you want somebody to go grab a beer with you, you want somebody to, you know, go watch a fucking movie. I don't care.
You know what?
Just let me fucking know what you want.
You know what's super fucked up? If you were to call me and tell me some bullshit about what you need, and you need somebody to do this, this, and this for you to make you feel like you're loved, and that would literally solve all your problems, You don't give a fuck who. You want somebody in your life to play these games to make you feel better. Then he told me what he needed. He told me how to fix the problem. That's all I fucking needed. I don't give a shit how ridiculous it is or how ridiculous it sounds, but tell somebody what your fucking problems are. Be open with yourself. Have that conversation with yourself and say, what the fuck is really my problem here? You know? And if that's what you need fulfilled, then do it.
Yeah, just don't ask Sage to help you work on Jeeps. He doesn't like it.
Seriously, don't do that. I have a vendetta against Jeeps. Wow. You guys feel that tension right now? It's a little bit of an awkward tension. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really hate Jeeps that much, but I really don't like them either.
He just doesn't like driving to my house because it's far.
Seriously? What?
He cries about it every time.
Why do you just come out of nowhere? No, dickhead. I know you want to go out.
He's like, you talk to me.
We're having a Tell me what your problem is, Doodle.
He's like, I don't do that.
You don't know German, so. But it's a really interesting thing to me that people have such a hard time. Like, if you're super upset and you are abnormally willing to speak on things that you don't fucking mean so offensively that are going to change your life so dramatically, then why can't you be so ridiculous as to speak on the things that you actually do need?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense, because if you want to talk about irrationalities and you want to think about how people are going to make fun of you for the things that you actually need, then think about the things that you're burning up right now. Think about the relationships that you're burning as you speak. And what do you think's worse? If they're both going to have the same effect, then fuck it. Put what you need out there and see what happens.
I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody's going to make fun of you for the things that you need, are they really somebody you want in your life anyways?
Right. Now it's two birds with one stone right there. Because now you're going to know if they can help you, or if they're willing to work with you, or to help you in your situation, your time of need, then guess what? You just found a true root in your life, and it's something to be valued. And if not, then it was going to be the same result as it would have been if you chose to say some insensitive shit to them and burn that bridge.
Yeah, just burn the bridge early and get it over with.
Fuck. That's a crazy way to look at things. You know what?
I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody's not meant to be in your life, they're not going to be in your life at some point. It's just how long are they going to stay in your life until that point? And I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather not have all the extra weight.
I have definitely found the benefits of not having the weight of negativity on your shoulders.
Yeah, my mental capacity right now can't handle it, so.
Wow. Speaking of weight, I feel like shit's lifted after this one. You done got me all fired up.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Fuck, man.
Come at you like a spider monkey.
I mean, it's definitely something like I try so passionately to not be an advocate of something I don't actually practice on my own. You know what I mean? So, and people have called me out for it since I've started this whole thing. I try to make sure that I practice what I preach. Does it always end the way I expect it to? No. But as a true proponent of finding a healthier mental capacity for yourself, I can't say that that's such a bad thing. And when I say that, it's not that I'm sitting here telling you to say fuck you to everybody, because that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that if you have to alter the words to describe how you feel around certain people, then you're probably not doing those relationships enough justice. And I don't think you deserve that. I don't think anybody deserves that. Having witnessed it firsthand for a lot of fucking years, I've seen some of my closest friends just bow down to relationships that weren't going to do them any good because it made them look cooler. And it breaks my heart. But sometimes that's the case, you know? Can't always fix everything that you see that's wrong, but you can try. But just unfortunately, sometimes that trying leads to a different path for both of you. And that's the shit that really sucks, but if you're going to hold yourself higher and be successful, then sometimes you have to let go of certain things.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this on quite a few episodes, but if you're trying to get somewhere and somebody's not helping you get to said place, and you can see that they're actually holding you back from getting to said place, that's the point where you need to have that conversation. And if that person's not willing to help you get to where you're trying to go, that person is at that point an anchor, and we need to cut anchor.
I also wanted to expand a little bit on that thought, because we've talked so much about people being anchors in life. And
sometimes you got to hang on to an anchor. What if you got to stop?
What? Brakes! What you just said was 100% correct, but I feel like it's something that definitely could be black and white, whereas that conversation I feel like has a lot of gray area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we say it as if it's such a black and white thing, right, but it's not really. I mean, that's why I said a conversation needs to be had, and it's just like what we talked about on the last episode. You know, you're not going to completely burn that bridge. At least, you know, I know me and you don't. You know, that the bridge is always open.
Apparently.
It's just got a tightrope across it. You know, you're going to have to work a little bit to get across that bridge to come and have that conversation. But at the end of the day, if you decide that you want to continue on with what we're trying to accomplish here, then we'll allow you back into our life to continue on with what we're trying to accomplish here.
Mm-hmm.
But up until that point, we just need to cut a couple strands off of that anchor rope. I mean,
I would kind of like to. I'd like to alter that just a little bit, because you are. What?
Let it dangle.
Let it dangle.
Let it dangle.
You're 100% correct, and I agree with you. I do 100%, but anybody that truly supports you and wants to see you be the best version of you and succeed in whatever the fuck it is that you want to be doing doesn't necessarily make them an anchor to
not want to go with you.
Not want to go with you. Yes, that's fucking perfect.
And so that's part of that conversation. It's like, hey, you know, I love what you're doing.
Right.
I love that you're trying to do this to better yourself.
But it's not for me.
It's not for me.
Right.
But I don't want to lose you as a friend.
Right.
I don't want you to forget about the little guy over here. I'm still over here.
And but, that's fine.
And yeah, 100%. But that's where I'm saying have that talk.
Yeah.
Because not everybody in that situation is an anchor. That person is not an anchor at that point.
Right.
Because they've admitted, hey, I love what you're doing. I want you to succeed. I want to help you succeed, but I'm not going. I'm not doing it.
This is I'm gonna use this as an example. Because I'm so fresh still, as the first year has been kind of an eye opener for everybody, including me. So the two different examples, you know, of what I get. We'll say during the week. For one, it was already hard enough during the week because we work fucking 10, 11-hour days.
Yeah.
So it was already fucked up as it is. But I chose to start doing this after work, on my weekends, things like that. And the conversation that would come up was, you know, hey, are you going to come to the bar? And I'd be like, yeah, not tonight. I got to record. And this happened. Dude, like the first 6 months, I cannot tell you how many fucking anchors I left at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking cannot tell you how much shit people were giving me. Certain people were giving me so much shit for choosing to do this instead of coming out. And
you'd rather go record instead of come and drink? Well, yeah, kind of.
They would literally, dude, so many people were like talking shit to me and like this and that because I was I'm like, hey, yeah, I got some editing to do. I can't come out tonight. I gotta get some work done at home, this and that. And as soon as that shit started happening, man, I was just like, yeah, okay, all right, talk to you soon. And that's basically where that cutoff happened, you know?
I mean, one of the last times me and you were actually at the bar together, you were like, hey, I got to bounce. You good? And I'm like, well, what's going on? You're like, oh, I got to do some editing. I got to put something out in the morning.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, I'll probably be like 20 minutes behind you if that's cool. And you're like, yeah, I'll see you when you get there. Like,
and there's a difference there. It's like those people that were willing to that they chose that path in that moment.
You got to have an understanding, and it's
there are some of my closest friends are not involved in this, but they fucking don't give me that bullshit when it comes time for me to do it.
Well, and so like that's where I'm trying to find the right way to say it, because I mean, obviously, like, take you out of the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about you directly. Just if I say you, it's just in general.
Right.
But like when you see it on all the time, when people, start a business, people always want, oh, well, hey, what's the homie hookup? Hey, we've been friends for 15 years. What are you going to do? What kind of discount can I get? Hey, you only going to charge me for material? Hey, this, that, and the other. Or, merch. Hey, you're going to give me a free hat, free t-shirt, this, that, the other. It's like, if you want to truly support your friend, don't be like, hey, I'm supporting you by wearing your shit. No, I'm supporting you by buying your shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure. If the friend offers it, cool. It's completely different.
Right.
But don't openly be like, yeah, no, I'm only going to get it if I get it for free. Not, it's one of those where if people take what I'm saying the wrong way, it's going to piss a lot of people off. But I will never ask a friend that has a business for a discount on something. At least at the point of where they're still a small business.
That should never piss anybody off.
And I'm not going to ask them for a discount on something. I'm not going to ask them for something for free. Because that person is trying to fucking start something. If they start just giving stuff away to their friends. When I started selling cars, the very first thing they make you do when you start selling cars? Pull your cell phone out and write down 20 people's names out of your phone. Name and phone number.
Just so you can see who's going to fucking call?
No. The reason they do that is because, and they look at you, they're like, have you posted anything on your social media about the fact that you work at a car dealership now? And I was like, no, why would I? Right. He's like, where do you think your first car sales are going to come from?
God, that's fucked up, dude.
When you first start any type of business, because car sales, they tell you are a business within a business. You are a self-promoting business that happens to work at a dealership. All of my work was self-generated. Mm-hmm. Even like the internet leads that they gave me, I have to still drag that person in. It doesn't matter. All of your sales are all self-generated, no matter how you want to look at it. And so it's the exact same thing as starting a business. That's why I'm somewhat comfortable with starting my business. The only thing that I'm not comfortable with is the tax side, because obviously working for somebody with your business, you don't worry about the taxes. The dealership still worries about your taxes. Mm-hmm. But as far as trying to get clientele, that doesn't scare me. Trying to find work, that doesn't scare me. Because I have already had to have that grind of where to find my first business. And your first business always comes from friends and family. No matter if you're selling cars, you're cutting hair, you're fucking, selling merchandise, you're cutting lawns, it doesn't matter. Your first business is always going to come from friends and family.
You're not fucking wrong.
So why should I give out my first business for free or severely discounted?
Right. You think I can afford this?
Yeah. So like
that's directly out of my wallet.
100%.
Yeah.
You're not coming to some big corporation that has millions of dollars to back them. I got 72 cents in my bank account right now.
Right. I can't type in the computer that we're going to offer this discount and I just won't be charged for it. Damn, dude. You're speaking to me because that's how this first year's been.
Well, yeah, because I mean, so boil it back down to you. Essentially, people are looking at you. They're like, well, you're choosing this over hanging out with us, or, I'm sure you probably had it when you first started trying to launch the merch and everything, where people are like, hey, where's my shirt? Hey, where's my hat? Hey, can I get this? Can I get that? And it's not a, hey, how much is that going to cost? Going out with you, I've seen a few people who have said, I don't want you to give it to me. I want to buy it. How much is it?
Yeah.
I have seen that happen.
Luckily, I've had some support.
But I guarantee you most of it's always a, hey, how can I get it for free?
Nope. There was definitely a handful of people that said, I want to support you and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I sent them all the links and everything. And as soon as money came into play, poof.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's fucked
I
up.
want to help
right
you out.
Yeah.
Buy the shirt and give it to me.
Damn, dude. Right in the fucking heartstrings.
Open your wallet so I don't have to open mine.
My wallet's fucking buried. Oh, God. I hate that was so accurate. But you're not fucking wrong.
It's one of those things where, I mean, I've had that conversation before, and me and you have even had that conversation, not directly, but I mean, we've had the conversation because, I mean, even people ask me about your front bumper all the time. People are like, well, what'd you charge him for that? And I'm like, if you knew half the shit that guy has done for me.
Fuck, man.
Spending a couple hours putting a bumper together ain't that much work.
I'm speechless, but thank you.
Jeez. I mean, shit. You came and picked my truck up, drove it back to your work.
I forget about that more often than I think I should.
Fucking mounted, balanced, and aligned it. You mounted and balanced tires and aligned the truck.
Tried to align the truck.
It drove straight.
Steering wheel was not.
Well, that's because it's a Dodge.
But, yep, this is why, our relationship is going to outlive more than it should. So, yeah, we're not done yet. We still got to fix a lot of shit in here. So,
oh, yeah.
Well, on that emotional note, do you have anything yet that you want to plug?
Well, I've come up with a couple of names.
Have you?
Yeah.
All right. I was just going to ask you.
Well, so I think you've seen the stickers that my dad had made for my truck, my dad's truck, and my grandpa's truck.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm going to take 2 steps back, maybe 5 steps back. What the fuck is your grandpa driving a big-ass 734?
Why not?
What do you fucking mean, why not?
You've seen the truck plenty of times.
I have not.
It's been at your house.
Shit.
The time that I came here and partied and then the next day went to the fucking lake at 4 o'clock in the morning?
That motherfucker. Wow.
That's the truck I was in.
That motherfucker should be walking with a walker. And he drives a truck that's taller than 2 of mine.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
At almost 70 years old, he'll still party harder than the both of us.
I apparently was way out of line. Fucking Papa. Jesus. Anyway, I just had to address that.
So,
Names.
So Saturday I found out, so the sticker says "Damn it, boy" for anybody that doesn't know.
Oh, I have seen that.
And we did that because when my grandpa first got on Facebook, that's all you would ever see him comment. It's fucking "Damn it, boy" on everything, and it's still like his main comment is just "Damn it, boy."
It's a "Damn it, boy" fabrication.
And so my dad was like, "Well, I wanted the stickers to say "Damn it, boy" LLC."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that could be the name of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a toss-up between that or I think I had sent it to you before, but I was saying that I wanted to do something in the realm of like Pike's custom steel work and woodworking or something like that.
Yeah, you were dabbling in something like that a while back.
But
I like Damn It Boy.
I feel like leaving it kind of vague to where it doesn't really tie into anything, because then I can branch it off into, because I mean, we've had plenty of conversations of the multitude of businesses that I want to start.
Right.
So I can use that as a parent corp, and then I can do all my DBAs underneath that. DBA stands for doing business as. So that's how you get like your parent company. That
Did you see my light bulb dimming?
So think of it like, with like your alcohol and stuff. Coors technically doesn't get brewed by Coors.
No.
It's brewed by a brewing company that also makes Blue Moon and like 30 other beers. So you have your parent corporation, and then everything else is doing business as said parent corporation.
Hey, do I get a part in this metalwork?
What do you mean?
Can I have a part in it? I want to play.
I mean,
I feel like we might have already established this, but I had to ask again.
well, as of right now, you got a little bit of a drive to come and have a part in it.
That's true.
See, now
Well,
we got to
see-
start returning the drive favors.
You saw what I can do with tubes, with no tools.
I was gonna say, do we really want to talk?
Yeah, there was a few angles in there that were a little
Off.
eh.
It's all right. I've sent you a couple of videos on how we can fix that and still use the same tools that we're using.
So we can revisit this.
Yeah, we just gotta.
Thank God. That's all I wanted. Fuck.
We gotta figure out how far you're willing to drive.
It's not the time. Yeah, I mean, it's not the drive. It's the time. Studio's here, dog. This is the biggest problem. Well, now I got
That one can come.
a walking thing in there with two legs I got to take care of too.
As long as that one's friendly, you're fine.
That one's well. We already know him and Fancy get along.
Well, we don't know about
I
her
forgot
brother,
about the other thing.
the brother.
But then I told. Yeah. Anyway,
The other walking one,
yes,
the loud one.
the one with the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she lives here now.
Well, that's fine. But you realize it's a big house, right? Or a big yard?
I was like, this is not a big house.
No, I'm talking about where I live.
Anyway,
It's a big yard.
keep your ears open for a new metalwork LLC of some kind. We're not really sure where it's going to go yet.
I mean, it's operational, so if you guys need anything,
Yes, it is operational. So if you have any needs or wants for custom truck fabrication, possibly more,
I mean, we're talking
maybe some woodwork, tube work. I mean, we can build custom bumpers, custom.
We've been throwing around flagpoles. We've been talking, bumpers.
Yeah.
We've been talking
Throw out the fucking ideas.
fucking repairs. Fucking shit broke. You need to bring it in to get repaired. Trailer work. I've built trailers. I've repaired trailers.
Just no framework. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm gonna say no to that one. He doesn't get a say. I'm saying no.
Warranty is taillights.
So keep your ears open for all that. If you have any questions regarding any metalwork, shoot me a message. Everybody already knows me versus me info@gmail.com. Yeah.
Did you forget?
Like, follow, subscribe on Spotify for notifications every time a new episode drops. Yep. Lots of spare time here. Nothing else, you're good?
No, we're good.
All right. And stay tuned for more. Always big things coming. Have a good night.